Here we are at part 3 of Ruth's sewing room, and we're going to wrap up this placemat, which could just as easily be a quilt, by showing you what to do with the two ends of the binding. We've put binding all the way around it, and you can do this after. I suggest that you're sewing it on. And what you do, I usually leave about anywhere from 6 to 10 inches. There's no absolute positive, but just a rule of thumb, you want enough that you can work with. Okay, so you can go like this, because that's what we're going to do, a lot of this. Sometimes it's easy, sometimes, depending on the size of it, it gets a little awkward. So here's a little trick. First off, this is extra. This is not attached to it, and I'm just going to snip off an inch or so. Again, there's no rule. The only thing we're going to use this for, this is the 2.5 inch binding, and what we're going to do, I've stopped sewing, and you want to do this on a side. You don't want to do it at the top of the quilt or somewhere that's going to be real noticeable. If it's a larger quilt, I recommend doing it towards the bottom, but not at the bottom. More so the bottom than the top, because that's where people's eye goes, but especially if it's a wall hanging. Alright, so what I've done here now is I've stopped sewing. I've made the corner, done my little miter business, made the corner, and on this side I've done the same thing. I'm over to about here. There we go. So now I'm going to take this little piece of fabric that I cut from the binding, and I'm going to pin it at the edge. This is a temporary placeholder. It's not going to stay here, so don't worry. All we're using it for is to know how long to cut these. That's it. So what we're going to do is take this one, and I'm going to say it first and then I'm going to do it because it's easier that way. So I'm going to take this one, and I'm going to hold it across the edge and find where this little placeholder's edge is, and I'm going to cut this piece even with that. Then all this will fall away. Then I'm going to take this piece and fold it over and use this placeholder to measure to the other side. Now you want to be about as exact as you can be on this, okay? If you go a little too much, you're going to have loose and floppy. If you go a little short, you're going to have it tight and probably end up puckering your placemat or your quilt. Alright, so I'm going to lay this down to do it because I want to be real exact on this, and I don't think I can do this and show you. But I will show you this. What I tend to do, and it seems to work real well, is I fold this over to the point where I want to cut it. These little scissors kind of... Alright. So I want to cut it right here. And then I just stick the scissors in like that and cut like that. And there's our discard. And I'm just going to lay it down to check it, because I want to make sure this is spot on. And this is your time to adjust. If you've cut it a little too short or a little too long, and mine is about 2 hairs too long. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move the placeholder over to mate up with it, match up. That way, there we go. I know you can't see what I'm doing. I'm sorry for that. But I don't have state-of-the-art equipment that I can wear it around my neck or something. So, okay, I'll show you. There. Alright, so this now goes exactly, might not look like it in the camera, but it does, goes exactly to where the placeholder ends. Okay, that side's done. And now I'm going to do this side. And I'm just going to lay this down because I can do it a lot quicker, and I'm just going to cut it right even with that placeholder. And you want to be real careful on this one because there's no more room for adjustments. There we go. And it is even with the placeholder. Now we can get rid of the placeholder. Okay, so if you joined your binding in the beginning in the diagonal fashion, you kind of know what's coming next. And I sort of have to turn this because I have to be facing it. So what we need to accomplish is we need to open up the binding so it's not folded. Open up the other one. Be very careful that you're paying attention so you don't twist these, because you will at some point in your life twist them and you will have to take it apart and redo it. You don't want to do that any sooner than necessary. Alright, so we have them both unfolded, and we have to match them up so that, I'm going to try and match them up and then hold it up here. So you've got them on a 45-degree angle. Okay, you got that edge. No, it's not quite up there. You want to get this right up there so it's in line with both sides. And then I take a pin and I hold that corner. Then I'm going to stick another pin in down about where the other corner is. And I know this is a lot of awkward junk to be holding because it's so small. And then what we're going to do is we're going to sew from this corner straight across to this corner. And if you want to draw a line, that is a great idea. I draw a line more times than not, but in this case, because it's a placemat, it's hard enough to get this in here. So I'm sorry for my arm being up in your face. My gosh, how rude is that? Alright, so I'm sorry you can't see this, but I will show it to you as soon as I get this done. It's hard enough. You have a lot more room when you're doing this on a quilt. Oops, I already did that. Okay. There's my seam. Straight across from this corner to that corner. Now I can take my pins out. And now I can trim this corner. You don't want to trim it as close as possible. You want to leave a good 1/4 inch seam. The reason for that is you think it was hard to get your sewing machine in there? Wait till you get the iron going. Yeah. Actually, it's a little easier if you just finger press it. So open the seam out flat. Give it a good finger press. Or fingernail press, as the case may be, whatever you have to work with. Okay. Now, what you're going to see, because you had this ironed, watch and see I twisted it. No, I didn't. Every once in a while I think, oh no, did I? I didn't. Here's what you're going to see. As you kind of pull it, because this is ironed to a crease, it helps you fold it exactly in half. And just peek inside to make sure your seams stayed open. That helps to more evenly distribute the bulk. And then you're just going to go and sew it down. And it fits perfectly. Yes, it does. What a little cutie pie you are. I'm going to stitch this down and then show it to you. How's that? Because I know you're just dying to see this. Even though I don't have it all hand stitched to the back yet. Whoopsie. Pay attention. Alright. Give it a little back stitch, tack it down, and we are good to go. See that? Now everything is going to fold over just like it's supposed to. Yeehaw! And that's it. That's how you do it. And I'm sure glad that you joined us for this. I hope you were able to see parts 1, 2, and 3, or whichever parts you needed help on. Check back, and who knows, maybe I'll make some other videos. Talk to you later. Bye.